Hi, Andrea here for leadsandconversion.com, and in this video I'll be talking to you about A/B testing. Now I'm gonna cover the why do we want to do A/B testing, what is that we want to A/B test, where and when we should A/B test, and how to do the A/B testing. Now this video doesn't want to be a comprehensive guide because that would require many videos and many hours of explanation. But what I want to achieve with this video here is to give you a very good understanding of A/B testing. And it doesn't matter if you are the person that is buying the A/B testing from somebody or you are trying to learn how to do A/B testing yourself. This video will be useful to you. So why do we want to A/B test? Because A/B testing is the only scientific way to grow a business. All the other ways, they're based on best practices or experience of the person who is suggesting this particular method, but they're not based on scientific methods, okay? A/B testing takes the numbers and uses them to understand what works and what doesn't. That's the only way you can have a clear understanding of what works and what doesn't, okay? And as you see here, all your first version are hypotheses and opinions don't matter. So this is what I just said, that even if you have a lot of experience in a field, you can bring a very valuable opinion on the table, which is based on your experience. But this doesn't mean that it's right, because every business is slightly different and every business works with different customers and different audiences. So the response of an audience to a particular strategy can be different. So if it worked previously with another business, it doesn't mean that it's going to work with this business as well. And that's why we A/B test. Now, in the end of the story, the users are the ones to decide. So we do split testing, A/B testing, to put in front to the users two or more versions, and then we measure which one they like the most. Okay, that's the core of it, that's the essence. And so imagine this. I want to talk a little bit about this, that all your first versions are hypotheses. Imagine you buy a website, a new website from some provider. They make a new website for you. And now imagine you publish this website and now you start to see different numbers, okay? Now imagine that instead of buying one website, you buy two websites and they're different. Like they have different branding, they're slightly different messaging. Wouldn't it be logical to expect that they would perform slightly different? Yeah. So you will have one website is converting better, one website is converting a little less better, right? Compared to the old website. Maybe they are even worse of the old website. You see, again, now we have three variations. We have the old one and we have two new ones. So who is to say that the one you bought, the one that you would have bought if you didn't make two, right? Who is to say that this is the best? You don't know. You don't know if you don't do it. And that's why I always recommend, when you buy services from service provider, just ask for two versions. If you make a new landing page, don't just be happy with one landing page. Make two and make sure they are different. That if they're almost the same, you will not find any meaningful difference in the numbers. But you want to try slightly different messaging, slightly different graphics, and see which one performs better. So don't just rely on the opinion of the designer, the professional who provides the service, but make it so that you can test which of the professional's opinions, and you get two opinions basically, which one performs better. So this will put the person who develops this page for you or gives you this service, whatever the service is, it will put them in a position to ask themselves, oh, okay, this is interesting. I can give two opinions, and I can even get to know which one is better, because nobody's doing this, right? So this is new for professionals, but I always ask for two versions. If I buy a landing page, really, I ask for two, not one, because one doesn't make any sense. I don't want to pay for something that I don't know if it performs well. Let's put it like this, okay? So let's move on to what you can A/B test. So generally, you want to test for appearance, and we're talking about the visual layout. Why? Because we are visual creatures. If we like something, we spend more time with it. And if we don't like something, we just pass the opportunity, okay? So there is a chance that your branding is not ideal, that the graphics element you use on your pages are not the best graphics you can have. So again, when you ask somebody to build your branding, don't ask for one version, ask for two, and then A/B test them. Then the other thing is copy. So what the copy does, it brings clarity on the page. The work of copy is to describe what you do and who you do it for and what are the benefits, okay? So how can you be sure that your copy does that and it does it well? Well, again, you make two versions of the copy and you use slightly different angles. So now you are A/B testing graphics and you are A/B testing copy. And you can do that in the same page with two different pages, but it would be recommendable to have two different experiments. In one you test the copy and the other one you test design. So you have 4 versions in total. So you see, it gets complicated, but it's the only way to assess scientifically if your copy works and if your design works, all right? So another thing you can test are trust elements. And by trust elements, I mean all those elements on the page that convey trust in your brand or product or service, whatever it is. So this can be testimonials, for example, social proof, badges if you have, like, if you're part of some association or something like that, experience that you have gathered during the years doing your job. So all these elements have to be on the page, and you can A/B test if they are effective by, coffee machine. Sorry about that. I love coffee. You can A/B test if they are effective just by making 2 versions of the page, one with that particular element and one without that particular element. And lastly, usability and navigation. And here we're talking about call to actions and links. Now, you want people to do something on your pages. And this is very important, actually. If your pages don't have a specific and clear call to action, they are not good pages. You should always make sure that every page on your website asks the visitors to do one specific thing, all right? So this is how you move people closer to the goal, to the sale, to the product, okay? So you move people in a certain direction, and this is done through navigation. So it's done by placing links and call to actions on the page. So here what you want to test is, if I move this call to action, do I get more clicks? If I change the call to action, maybe I change the copy, maybe I change the look of the call to action, do I get more clicks? If I place links on the page in a different way, a different color, do I get more clicks? Okay, so here again, you have already tested engagement on the other elements of the page. So the first one was the appearance of the page, then we have the copy, then we have the trust, And then finally, can we change the behavior by having people click on links if we move the links or if we redesign the way links look on the page. So now that we covered the what, let's see where and when. And this is a very big topic because most people get it wrong. They start to make A/B tests in places where it makes no sense. Now, here is a number issue. You want to look at conversions and you want to look at the base conversion rate, which depends on the traffic. Now, let me explain. For an A/B test to be valid, let's say, you want to have at least 100 conversions in each variation. So let's say you make 2 variations, you want to have 100 conversions in one and 100 plus in the other. So one will be better than the other for sure. It's very unlikely that you get exactly the same numbers. Even if it's 2 identical pages that you are testing, you will never get the same numbers. There is always a little bit of difference. So you want to have 100 conversions for each variation. Why? Because if you have smaller numbers, they are much more volatile. So ideally, when I run tests for my clients, I try to have at least 300 conversions per variation. So for me, a good number is between 300 and 500 conversions per variation. But if you don't have enough conversions, 100 is a good starting point. Now, when I say conversion, what do I mean? I mean sales. This is the mother of all conversions. This is what you want to get. You want to get to measure sales. But if your business doesn't have 200 conversions per month, let's say 100 is 200 and the testing period is 4 weeks, okay? If you do not have this much conversions, then you can measure something else. For example, the number of leads that your business is acquiring, and make tests on leads instead of making tests on sales. And if you do not have even 200 leads per month, well, then your business is not doing really well, I have to say. But yeah, then you can just start to monitor the clicks on CTAs and buttons and links, and start to try to improve navigation so that you drive more people to the pages that convert. For example, a form to become a lead, or the product page for making that sale. Okay, does it make sense? So you have to start from somewhere. And you can start from sales only if you have enough traffic. So I said conversions and base conversion rate, which depends on the traffic. So now what do I mean by this? I mean that you need to have eyeballs on the pages and conversions. If you do not have enough people, you will never have enough conversions. But if, for example, I have 2,000 people getting on my product page and the conversion rate of the product page is 10%, in that case, I have 200 sales, all right? So the validity of the A/B test, and here we go a little bit into the mathematics of it, depends on the conversion rate. The higher the conversion rate, the smaller sample you need. If your conversion rate is very, very low, you need a lot more people to go inside that test. So this may mean that you need a longer period, okay? Before I said 1 month, and 1 month is just a number because usually, well, businesses tend to have different numbers, and a lot of businesses have less than 200 sales per month. But if your business has like 1,000, 5,000 sales per month, this period can be shrunk to like 2 weeks. So it doesn't have to be 1 month. It depends on the number of conversions, and it depends on the conversion rate. So in the end of this long story about where and when, you can make your A/B tests where you have enough traffic. So just look at the pages in your analytics and select the pages with the most traffic. There for sure you can make A/B tests. If a page has more than 2,000 unique viewers per month, then for sure you can make an A/B test. You can test something on that page. Whether it is call to action, lead conversion, or sales conversion, that depends on what's on the page, but you can for sure test something. If anything, test the navigation, okay? Now, let's go and see how you want to perform this A/B test. Now, I recommend that you keep it running for 2 weeks minimum, even if you have a lot of conversions and a lot of sales. So why 2 weeks? Because traffic is volatile and the behavior of people is volatile. So it can be that in 3 days you have a lot of sales, and then the next 4 or 5 days it goes down and you have way less. So you want to have a long enough period to get a good snapshot of the average. So 2 weeks is the minimum, I would say. I work with businesses that have many conversions in the range of 10,000 sales per month, but we still run the A/B test for 2 weeks, because we have seen that if we run just 1 week, we do get numbers, we get, well, obviously fewer conversions in the variations, but these numbers are volatile. So 2 weeks reduces the volatility and it's a better time frame. Now, in any case, what you want to do, you want to test on full weeks. You don't stop your experiment at 2 weeks and a half, for example. Why do you want to test full weeks? Because the behavior of people changes during the week. In some businesses, more sales happen during the weekend. In some businesses, more sales happen during the weekdays. So you really don't want to have your data skewed because of the day of the week. So just take full weeks and you average out any behavior that depends on the nature of the business. So this is the concept. If you start on Monday, you end on Sunday. And if you start on Wednesday, you end on Tuesday. That's pretty simple. So just test on full weeks, don't break the weeks. And last, you have to worry about statistical significance. Now, this is a huge topic. I'm not going to go into this, but I will just give you a couple of pointers. So I already said that you want to have at least 100 conversions per variation, and this gives you a rather solid baseline for your numbers. It's not perfect. You should try to get more than that. So if you can, run the test for 1 week more and get 150, 200, okay? And if you really cannot get more, that's fine enough, but know that your results may not be entirely significant. And other thing is that you have to reach an acceptable sample size. And I warmly suggest you use calculators. So I will put a link to a calculator I use and trust in the description below this video. But use calculators, because it's nearly impossible to calculate statistical significance by heart. So you want to use a calculator for that. And what does it mean, statistical significance? It basically means that if you repeat the experiment, you will get the same results. And so you can trust the experiment. This is what we want to be able to say, okay? So this depends on the sample size, how many people went inside the experiment, how many conversions you got, and so in turn it depends on the conversion rate. It's all connected and it's quite complicated, so that's why we use calculators. So this very long explanation here was everything you should know about A/B testing in order to make good A/B testing choices. I hope this video was useful. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.